Hello, I'm here during the lunch rush with Janice, who owns her own food truck.
Best cheesesteaks in town.
Janice traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for her food truck business. We're here where she needs us most.
They sure are.
We make it so easy for her to save, with customised coverage that grows with her business. Sorry, I just get so emotional talking about saving folks money.
Not this onion I'm chopping?
It's just so beautiful. Oh yeah, no, it's the onion.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
RingCentral's AI receptionist uses voice AI to answer on the first ring, so you'll never miss a call again. In just a few minutes, you can personalize your own AI receptionist to answer questions, route calls, schedule appointments, and even send texts in multiple languages. Plus, it's easy to scale. Create unlimited AI receptionists across any phone system. It's all powered by one reliable platform for effortless AI communications. See for yourself at ringcentral.com. RingCentral, voice of your business.
It's great. This is going to be a blast. Okay, so Randy, if you could revive any one of the shows that you've been on, which one would it be? Would it be Acapulco H.E.A.T, Love Boat, The Next Wave, First Monday, or JAG?
Well, I'd like to say all of them, but, God, you got a lot of nerve asking me that. A lot of nerve. We'll get into that later. But the thing about Acapulco H.E.A.T and the Love Boat was with the Love Boat. We did 2 cruises of the Caribbean, and we shot 2 of 1 week cruises. And it was the first time I'd been on a cruise, and it was just too much. We stopped in some beautiful locations. And Acapulco H.E.A.T, I was in Puerto Vallarta for 6 months filming. JAG was
hard choice, man.
I know I can't. JAG was great because it was JAG. First Monday. Oh my God! I thought I was completely on my way after that show. I mean, all those major stars. I can't. I better say JAG. I get JAG.
JAG for the win. From the heart of Hollywood, it's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show with Patrick Labyorteaux.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.
Tonight's episode, Randy Vasquez.
Patrick Labyorteaux Show. He's the one you gotta know.
Okay, you know him as the by-the-book Gunnery Sergeant Victor Galindez from JAG. I know him as the guy who smuggled known hottie Joan Severance onto the set of JAG one day. Please welcome my buddy, Randy Vasquez.
Yeah, baby. Talking about Patrick. God, it's so good. I saw the show with David. I was thumbing through my YouTube, and I said, oh, this is great. I had that whole hour talking to him. So many memories came back and things I'd forgotten, and it was so much fun to listen.
I mean, it's interesting. The people that I work with on JAG, like you or whoever else that I've talked to, when they watch the videos of me talking to other people involved in the show, obviously it's going to be completely different for you guys than it is for any of the normal viewers, because you know all the stories that they're kind of referencing, or you know all the people that they're talking about, and it's our God going on. No.
Don't say it.
Well, look at you versus look at me. If you were to get a Marine haircut and shave that beard, you'd look exactly like you did on the show.
I wish.
Me, I look like Bud's grandpa. Act 1, beginnings. Okay, so obviously, just in case anyone's not caught up to date, Randy and I were on the TV show JAG. It was a military law show, and we had such a blast working together. What year did you come in on JAG? You came in the 4th season?
At the beginning of 99.
Okay. Just around that season. And it was like, ours was a big sprawling show where kind of we added members and, we added lawyers, we added people. And Randy was like one of my favorite additions because he's just a good dude. I've done research on you, and it's going to be a blast because you've worked with a ton of people that I know, which I had no idea about.
Okay.
Just in general, let's start with Randy Vasquez.
Yeah.
Dude, you've worked a lot. You have like over 65 individual credits. Like one credit will be JAG, and then you've got like 44 episodes, or The Love Boat, and it's like, another 24 episodes. So you've worked a lot. How did you get into acting? What was it that made you say, okay, I want to be an actor?
No, it was just one of those things where I knew it when I was a kid. I second grade, and I was growing up in High Point, North Carolina, with my mom and my brother, and my second grade teacher, Miss Carr, loved the theater, and she would produce shows for us kids, and she cast me as Jack and the Beanstalk, and I was off and running.
So you were cast as a lead to begin with.
Oh my God, yeah, the lead. And I was living in North Carolina with my mom, but my father was, after the divorce, my father was down in Escondido here in Southern California where I was born. And I was just thinking, at the time I was not happy in North Carolina, although looking back, it was a great childhood, beautiful state. Yeah. I just wanted to get back to California so I can get to Los Angeles and start my acting career. Because the main
wow, so you powered yourself to, you knew what you were going to do.
I knew. I used to come home when I was a kid from school, and I was the classic watching Gilligan's Island reruns, and I thought, that's what I want to do. That looks like so much fun. Those actors, and I've seen the show as a grown up, and I appreciate how good those actors really were in selling that idea of being deserted on a desert island, to a kid, to me,
right,
10-year-old, whatever. So
now it was all shot at Radford, right across. It's like nothing. It was just like a big set.
The illusion was perfect for me, and I ended up graduating high school down in Escondido with my father, and I got accepted to UCLA, and that was my ticket here, and I went to UCLA for a quarter and dropped out because I just, left financial aid behind, and I just wanted to strike out on my own because I said I couldn't get into the theater department. And they said, well, you're going to have to wait 2 years till you're a junior. You got to take all this GE, and, I can't do it. I cannot write term papers. I'll never. So I struck out on my own, and I started meeting people. I got a job in Westwood Village. 1980.
Where?
It was the yogurt ice cream cookie place next to the gallery, Westworld Gallery, where they had pinball machines. Remember that place?
Yeah. Oh, Westwood was the hang here in Southern California. I mean, they had all the movie theaters. There's the Village. There was, before they tore it down. I mean, it's still there, but like they had the Pacific. They had all of these great places. You'd go, just walk around.
Oh,
I'm sure I've gotten yogurt at that place.
Yeah, the Friday and Saturday nights in Westwood were just jam packed.
Yeah,
and the owner
like the French Quarter.
Yeah, the owner of the place was an actor from New York, and I told him I wanted to be an actor, and he said, well, there's this teacher that I know. He's out here, and he advertises in the drama log. Remember the drama? I don't know if you remember the drama log. No,
for sure. That's where in the back it would be like casting notices.
Yeah, that was the casting paper for actors. So I started picking that up every week, and I finally saw the guy's name. His name was Tony Ponzini. He's an Italian guy from Brooklyn. And I started studying with him, and Tony had... And I heard you and Charles Johnson talking about the neighborhood playhouse. That's where he wanted to go.
Yeah.
To study acting, and that's where my teacher graduated from there in 1959 with Sanford Meisner, and then in the 60s he got in the actor's studio, so he kind of had that Sanford Meisner technique and the Lee Strasberg technique. And he kind of made it his own.
Just in case people don't know, it's a pretty dedicated technique to inhabiting the character like completely, where it's not like tricks on how to cold read. It's a lot deeper than that.
No, it is. And the neighborhood playhouse is this intensive 2-year program. You're not allowed to audition outside of class and everything. And these teachers were from the 30s, the group theater, and they came out of that realism school and how to access your past and your emotions and all that stuff. But anyway, so he combined those.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna pause right here.
Yeah.
Everything is going great, but I don't know how it's set up over there. But your camera's bouncing when you're talking. I don't know if it's because you're leaning, but I want you to be comfortable.
On the table,
but I don't know.
I'll stay off the table.
Is that all right? Would that be too much of a... Okay. So you're studying at this really dedicated theater.
It was just this teacher. It was just, he rented spaces around town, and I studied with him, and I was It was great. I mean, to those early days of discovering what acting is, I had no idea. I did a couple plays my senior year in high school, but drama teachers didn't really teach you how to act. They just, I don't know. I don't remember any kind of acting technique in high school, just doing a couple of plays. And
I found something in my research here, which I got to ask you about.
Yeah.
Robert Marcucci.
Yes.
Is this a real story?
Yeah. Tony, my teacher, was a friend of Bob's, and Bob had managed Tony's wife as an actress. She was in the soap operas, General Hospital, Sharon DeBoer, who was still a dear friend. And Bob had managed her in the 60s and 70s. But Bob was from South Philadelphia, and he had discovered Fabian and Frankie Avalon. Not really discovered Frankie Avalon, because he was already kind of going with his career, but he kind of got him into the recording careers big time when Elvis was in the Army. And that's when Frankie Avalon and Fabian really kind of exploded with this kind of teen sound.
What's amazing, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what's amazing about this is the movie The Idolmaker with Ray Sharkey, I freaking loved as a kid. He finds Peter Gallagher, dubs him Cesare, and makes him into this big star, but all along, Ray Sharkey is like the one with the talent. He can sing, he can dance, and Peter Gallagher's just got a face, and that's about it. And as a young actor, I'm like watching this going, I get this, I know this. And I always loved it. Had no idea it was based on a real guy. And this is the real guy, right?
Well, yeah, what happened was, and so Tony, I'd been doing scenes, and Tony thought I had some sort of promise, so he invited Bob to come see me do a scene in acting class. And I didn't know this was happening, I don't think. I think it was a surprise. But during the break in class, he took me outside, Bob did, and he looks at me and he says, and this is my Hollywood moment, hey kid, you want to be a star? And I well, yeah, and the Idolmaker had come out during that time, and I had seen it before even meeting him. So I knew who he was.
That's insane. So you knew he was the Idolmaker.
Yeah,
and he's telling you that.
Put that together. Yeah, yeah. So I knew that he was coming to class. I knew that, who he was, and it was just a coincidence that I'd seen the movie. And you're right, it is I recommend that movie to everybody. Peter Gallagher.
Seriously, Taylor Hackford directed it.
Yeah, it was his first.
Ray Sharkey is amazing in it. Peter Gallagher is like the perfect blank-faced beauty boy.
Yeah.
I mean, just everything about it was so. And the music was great too.
Music was great.
So you're with this guy, this cool manager.
So I said, I want to be a star. Yeah. Of course I want to be a star. So he says, okay, let's get to know each other for a year. Just see how this goes, and we'll get going. So that's what we did. I just hung out with him and his son, and just kind of went out. And a year later, he got me an audition with an agent. I got the agent, and that's when I started auditioning and getting work. And here we are today.
Well, let's talk about this. As far as the first two credits, I couldn't believe how many different interactions you had with my career. So you work on Highway to Heaven with Michael Landis.
That's right. That's my first TV job.
I got to ask, what did you think of Michael?
Well, I remember going to the audition, that castle in Malibu up on that hill. He used to shoot there a lot. I guess they shoot a lot of shows. They used to. So I remember going up there and auditioning for him, and he was very pleasant and smile. Got the job, and we shot the episode. And I remember we were on a beach in Malibu filming. And I've grown up watching this man who was, it's really a kind of starstruck. And we were at the beach, and there was a break, a setup for the next shot. And he was kind of by himself, just standing there. And I was there too, and I thought, I got to say, I got it. So I said something really trivial, and he just kind of looked at me and go, yeah. And just kind of went back off into his work. Because you got to remember, he was the star of the show. He was producing it. He was directing the episode. I'm sure he had a lot on his mind in that moment, and he didn't have time to speak to me. So that was a little bit embarrassing, but I learned real quick that, don't try that with the big shot on set. So, but he was great.
It's so interesting because you never, and like you're saying, he does so much on set that, like, he was the guy that if it was trivial, he didn't, like you said, he didn't have time for it. Not that you're trivial, but like,
Exactly.
if he can just, and then your next job is a little comedy called Beverly Hills Cop.
Little comedy. Yeah, I got that. I got the audition for that, and originally it was like 2 scenes. One scene, I played the valet when he comes in and parks his car at the hotel.
Right.
And then I had a scene in his hotel room where I'm delivering, his duffel bag there, and there was dialogue in there. But when I got to the set, that scene had been cut, so I just had the one scene out in front of the Biltmore Hotel downtown, greeting his character, welcoming him to Beverly Hills, and I got to the set. Martin Brest was just wonderful. He's so nice and great and humorous, and
That's the director.
really took me kind of in his arm and led me around. And he said, "Oh, you want to meet Eddie?" I said, "Oh, yeah." So we're walking up. We're going down to the set, and Eddie Murphy is surrounded by like about 4 or 5 really big guys, and he's in the middle walking the set. And I'm going, okay. And so we meet. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? No small talk with Eddie. And that was interesting. It was a short scene, short work day for me. But Eddie, in between setups, he would just go off by himself in a space where he could just kind of, I don't know, prepare for the scene. It wasn't a major scene, but he was just quiet. And I remember that impressed me. He was just kind of really...
It's so interesting you say that, because I had a similar experience with Jim Carrey where I had one scene with Jim Carrey. It had dialogue, and so we were there, and we were sitting down, and it maybe took 5 hours where he's on one side of a desk, me and my wife are on the other, and we had our dialogue, and you're sitting there, and it's like Eddie Murphy, which is this big personality, especially during Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
And Jim Carrey, this was called Yes Man. It was like after, he's Jim Carrey. And it's like they power down kind of like to like themselves. And then when the cameras go back on, then they're the star that you knew.
Yeah.
And it was like so fascinating watching that, because for me, we worked together. It was like you and me or you and me, and then the camera comes on, and then we kind of move into our character. But it's not like a complete shutdown and then reemergence like both of these guys seem to be.
Yeah, that's, I never forgot that. And I was nervous as all get out. And I think it shows in the performance, but hey, it's in the film, so.
There you go. And I mean, if history is anything, when people say, "Oh, you still make money from that?" Yeah, you do. I mean, I just got a check for $400 for Blazing Saddles. So
whoa, Blazing Saddles.
Who knows? Who knows what you're going to make, but it cycles around.
Yeah.
So was Bob Marcucci responsible for Randy Gallion?
That was my mother's maiden name, and I used
okay.
I used that for the first few years of my career, just kind of, Americanized myself. And I used that name until I took during the writer's strike of 1988. Remember that?
Yeah.
It lasted, it was quite a big deal. It lasted a long 6 months, something like that.
I did a pilot that was supposed to shoot, and then it just got canceled because of that strike.
Yeah, well, I took a trip into Mexico to try and find some relatives of mine from my father's side, and that trip changed my life. I remember...
How?
I remember taking a bus into Mexico City. I was in Guadalajara. I took the overnight bus into Mexico City, and I woke up, and I looked out the window, and I was surrounded by all these brown people, all these Indians, which is what Mexico, largely is, the population. And
right.
And I had issues growing up being part Mexican, and this whole identity acceptance was difficult for me because I didn't grow up.
Well, first of all, from the South, it's different. And then you moved to Escondido, which, if you don't know, is like 90, 80 some miles or a couple miles from the border. It's above San Diego.
Yeah.
So, and at that time, I remember massive amounts of racial tensions between like the white people and the brown people all up and down California.
Yeah.
So I can imagine when you're
Well,
You're Mexican, right?
being in the South in the late 60s and the early 70s, me and my brother, I'm looking back, I'm sure we were the only part Mexicans in the whole state. Now it's ironic because there's so many there, and they're out in the country, they're working in the fields, and they have their markets in the middle of nowhere. It's really quite a change. But so, I had issues because I didn't grow up with my father out here, and so it took me a while to accept myself. And that trip to Mexico sealed it for me. I came back, I took my name back, I was proud of who I was, I accepted myself, and that's how it's been ever since then.
Even in these heated times, it's hard to imagine how different it was back then. And again, for an actor like yourself, like if a name like Randy Gallion, you can be Spanish, you can be Italian, you can be 1,000 different things. Vasquez you're Mexican, and it's like they took that shit seriously in Hollywood.
Yeah,
probably still do, but I mean, it's opened up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was. I don't want to say self-hatred. That's too much of a word, but I felt inside that I was as American as anybody, and I didn't want to be labeled because having a Spanish surname, being part Mexican, was a negative connotation. Until, like I said, I took my kind of Mecca trip, and I went to Mexico, and that's when I learned how to accept myself, and so that was an important point. And of course, Hollywood really just hammers you with that. You are this. You are this.
Right. I mean, especially back then, where it was like, Mexican gang member 3. It's like it was just that's how
in the 80s. That's what it was for Latino actors, and it was gang members, drug dealers, maids for the women, and the only really working positive kind of image people were Edward James Olmos on Miami Vice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the 80s, and Isai Morales was working a lot. I can't. Not many. Andy Garcia was starting out, so there just wasn't.
No, it's definitely It's definitely a time period. I mean, again, the 80s were all about. I played jocks. I played bullies. I played. It's like that's what I fit into, and then other people play nerds, or they play, the pretty girl who's blonde or the pretty girl who's brunette. It was like really, really specifically categorization. But you break through all of this.
It took time.
And do the film Valet Girls. Now let's talk about Valet Girls.
Let's not.
No. So we have to, because director Raphael Zelinsky directed a movie that I wrote called National Lampoon's Last Resort, right?
Oh, yeah, Raphael,
Raphael. And you were also, the two guys you were in it there, I've worked with both of them, John Terleski and Stuart Fratkin, who are just such great guys. So it's a classic 80s movie. It's a rip-on Valley Girl, of course. And you guys get into shenanigans. And now, so how long does it take to shoot a movie of quality like Valet Girls?
2, maybe 3 weeks. It was in the middle. I'll never. Gosh, you're bringing this up. This was December of 85 or 84, and we were shooting it in a mansion up in the Hollywood Hills here, and it actually was so cold that year that it actually snowed. Light flurries one night. It came, it was reported. And we were shooting it like it was summertime, a pool scene with our bathing suits and bikinis, the ladies. And there was a couple people were fortunate enough to be in the jacuzzi, so they didn't leave that. But, that was a time of Porky's, Bachelor Party, these type of girl versus boys kind of get even at each other films. And competition. That's what this was. There were valet girls, and we were the valet guys. Me, Stuart, and the Steve. I can't remember Steve's last name, but it was 3 against 3. And in the end, they get revenge on us, and we lose a bet. And another embarrassing moment is we lost the bet, and we had to go up to the Hollywood sign and stand in the middle of the O with our pants down. And they did a helicopter shot going by us.
This is before they renewed the Hollywood sign. So it's a
84, 85. And in the background, you could hear the girls laughing at us. And we were, no, get us down. Fortunately, it was just a back shot, and it was a very far off shot. But nonetheless, preparing for a shot like that, you can imagine, like, what the hell am I doing?
Right.
Why? Please don't do this. Let's change this.
Yeah, I had.
But I did get to go up to the Hollywood sign. All right.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
There's not anything like it, and they don't allow you up there anymore.
Yeah.
And then you roll into, John Terlesky and I did a pilot. We did a series on Fox, and Stuart and I were in Ski School, which was another, high quality film. Stuart makes me laugh all the time, though. And John's directing, so he was super smart.
I remember John. John was a good actor, too.
Yeah. And then you roll into Protect and Surf with Thomas Hayden Church and another buddy of mine, Phil Lewis. Now, this is you cops at the beach, right?
Yes.
And you did a couple of episodes of this, right?
No, it was just the pilot. We just did a pilot. It didn't get picked up. And Thomas, fun guy. Phil.
So you're building the career. You get this pilot. I've talked a little bit about it. Can you give me just just a little bit of thoughts on what you're experiencing because the pilot is the first episode of a series.
Yeah.
If it gets picked up. So there's lots of hope. There's lots of money on the line because you have to do your deal, so you know how much money you'll be making if they pick it up. It's kind of like sitting at a slot machine and waiting to find out if it hits or not.
Yeah, I couldn't describe it better than that. Gosh, you're just jarring my memory. One of the highlights on that film, me, Thomas, and Phil were nobodies back then. We were all just starting, and I'd been 9 years doing it, but anyway. But the other actor that got cast on that was Billy Zabka from Karate.
Right. Yeah, the bully from Karate Kid.
That was exciting for me, and Billy was just a sweetheart. He was such a great guy, and that I remember. And we shot the thing down on Venice Beach, and a lot of girls.
It's so funny. We shot Summer School at Venice Beach, and then what they did is, the producers do whatever they can to bring the budget down, and so they found this house that was like a drug den on the beach, and they bought the house, and then they refurbished it to shoot in, and then they sold the house afterwards, right? So it was just sort of it was cheaper than renting, and they could control it, and they could get in and out and everything. And I laugh at that today because now it's you've mentioned 2 places that you've been shooting already, and it's just the crazy real estate market. I think they bought it for $60,000, which was a bungalow on the beach in Venice. And I'm sure now it's $3 million. It's just a ridiculous amount. And then in this period of time right after this, so you did the pilot, it didn't go, but then you do all of these soap operas, daytime and nighttime. You do Knots Landing, you do Santa Barbara, The Bold and the Beautiful. Were you the sexy Latina that was hello, darling, how are you?
No. No, I was just the, sweet next door neighbor kid. No, oh my God, you're making me remember. Santa Barbara, I played a bad cop, a corrupt cop.
Okay.
Ends up taking people hostage in a church. But that was a lot of episodes. That was a great job, I remember. Abe Vigoda was on Santa Barbara from The Godfather and from Barney.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I remember talking to him one day, and just he was happy to be working. And
what's crazy with these soap operas like Santa Barbara and The Bold and the Beautiful, and I was looking at IMDb, it's episode numbers 3,000. And it's that's crazy, but you can have a run of 12 and 18 episodes where it's a really great gig for an actor, and then a blip as far as the overall story. But for you, it's, an episode a day?
Yes, and all those many lines to memorize. They didn't have to be perfect, but they had cue cards as well. And it was really like doing theater in a lot of ways, because you didn't have to really hit a mark so tightly as you do on TV and film. So you could really let it hang out on a soap opera, I recall. And
I know you like theater. You've done a lot of theater. Did you like that format of soap opera?
Yeah. that was a really good job. Like I said, I don't know how many, 20 or 30 episodes I did. And the other ones were just day jobs, I think. But good training, good stuff.
Just curious, because I just had Donna Mills on. Did you do anything with Donna Mills in Knots Landing? Or I mean, because there's a bunch of different stories in there.
No, I worked with Joey Gian. We were partners, and I worked with. Oh my God, who's the actor that played Robert Kennedy?
These two old men are trying to think of the name William Devane.
Knots Landing.
Stephen Culp?
You're thinking of William Devane.
I can't remember his name. He raised his
not Bruce Greenwood.
The answer is William Devane.
He was in Marathon Man. He played the bad guy in Marathon Man.
It's William Devane, guys.
Trying to kill Dustin Hoffman in that house.
Laurence Olivier?
No, gosh. No, the other guy. The American.
I want to see Laurence Olivier on Knots Landing.
Oh my gosh. No, not him. Anyway, that was a nice reoccurring part as well.
Yeah, and that's a nighttime soap, so it's like lots of people are seeing it.
That show is so popular. Remember, that show was really big. Wow, I remember that.
Ring Central's AI receptionist uses voice AI to answer on the first ring, so you'll never miss a call again. In just a few minutes, you can personalize your own AI receptionist to answer questions, route calls, schedule appointments, and even send texts in multiple languages. Plus, it's easy to scale. Create unlimited AI receptionists across any phone system. It's all powered by one reliable platform for effortless AI communications. See for yourself at ringcentral.com. RingCentral, voice of your business.
Back after these messages. Have you ever thought about becoming an actor and making your friends and family jealous? Well, have I got a deal for you. Here at Working Actors School, we offer many different classes so you can become a famous actor like me. And we have a delightful selection of classes, including Adult Weekly. It's every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Here you will learn how to be an actor with other adults. How do we do it? How is it possible? Is it a miracle? Yes, it is. A miracle called Zoom. We teach everything online so you can become a famous actor and impress your friends and family. So if you want to be a famous actor and make your friends and family jealous, then you need to sign up at Working Actors School. You can get a hold of us at workingactorschool.com. You can sign up for classes at workingactorschool.com. You can make a reservation for the class online at workingactorschool.com. So come check us out. It's workingactorschool.com. Act 2, Success. Okay, so we're rolling into like prime Randy. We got Acapulco H.E.A.T, which can school me on this. There were two versions of it,
Oh yeah. We did one season in '93, and then I think 3 years later they rebooted it, but with a cut down cast. They brought two people back, two regulars back, and that was it. And they created a couple new characters, and they brought me back for one reunion episode that was, little trip back.
Now, was this one of those shows that was like a syndicated show? Because I don't remember where it was.
Yeah,
was it like
we shot it. It was a cross between James Bond and Baywatch, with a fraction of that budget. But and I think it premiered. Get this, it premiered on Sunday night at midnight on the USA Network.
That's actually prime USA time. It's right after Up All Night.
Why even air it if you're going to air it at midnight on Sunday? Anyway, it didn't last.
Well, like I've been saying, every project you have, I've worked with somebody. Spencer Rochefort was in ski school, it was like I knew Spence.
Yeah.
But this was the first time that you're on a show where it was shot on location. You were saying you were in Puerto Vallarta?
Puerto Vallarta, so my first series regular.
Walk us through how difficult that was, Randy.
I'm telling you, that's why I couldn't choose when you said which one would I like to redo, because I was a regular on the series, but I wasn't the lead. That was Catherine Oxenberg and Brendan Kelly, so I had a lot of time off to explore the area, to sleep in, to do whatever I wanted to do. And
do you speak Spanish? I mean, because sometimes
I speak Spanish, but
so you were local.
Back then, I wasn't as good as I was now. So I actually took Spanish lessons Spanish classes from a local woman there who I remember was Mormon. but she was just a sweet,
Okay.
she was the sweetest lady, and I used to take, and then I used to talk to the crew, and I would go explore the city and meet people and talk, and it's a beautiful little town. This is in '93. I know it's changed a lot, but
Yeah.
that was a great.
So
trip.
when you're doing all of this work as an actor on the acting side of it, you're gaining technique for sure. Like the soap opera is one type of technique. Big movies are another type. Acapulco Heat, when it's a syndicated television show that doesn't have a lot of money, there's a lot of different energy bands that an actor has to understand how to get in and get out and do your work. So what would you say you learned from this era of your work?
Well, in Acapulco Heat, I did a lot of action, a lot of fighting, some stunts. I learned how to stunt drive, how to spin a car out, for instance. I started.
That's cool.
I started shooting a lot of guns, different types of guns, which would serve me well in when I did JAG. And
Outstanding Marine.
yeah, out effing standing. That's what that was. And when I got back from Acapulco Heat, I thought, wow, things are going to happen now, and they didn't.
Well, okay, everyone has that feeling, but you look back at your work, and you did a ton of guest stars. You did Nash Bridges, Silk Stockings, Sliders. You did a lot of guest work, and then you land Love Boat: The Next Wave. So, but it's like at the moment, it always feels like, because that could be years between these things, but on IMDb, they're right next to each other, so it feels like, oh, you're always working.
Well, I was also, don't forget, also doing plays. I was taught, and I figured it out early on, that the more times I can push myself in front of a live audience, the better actor I would be, and the better career and longer career I would have. So I studied with the actress Diane Venora, and she always used to tell us, try and do at least one play a year. Hopefully a great.
What do you get? What do you get from a play that you don't get from set work?
How to think on your feet, because anything can go wrong and probably will go wrong. So there's that live element. There's that sustained performance of a character, no cuts, It's an actor's medium.
The show literally must go on, as opposed to
gosh.
let me take it again.
And things have happened. And the audience, if a disaster happens on stage that isn't planned, the audience the audience doesn't know. And oftentimes they'll react in a really positive way, like they'll laugh or guffaw or something like that. Meanwhile, you're on stage going, oh God, going nuts, going, we got to save this moment here. It's amazing. And I did a play this past fall, and something disastrous happened. I had a tattoo on my arm, and I'm supposed to reveal it in the scene to this other character, and I roll up my sleeve. And this particular day, in my preparation for to go on, I forgot to put the tattoo on. It was a temporary tattoo. And I go up to the guy, and he's kind of a cocky character. I say, hey, just look at my tattoo, man. And I pull my sleeve back, and there's nothing there. And, all of a sudden, your thoughts start ricocheting a million miles in your head, and somehow I got through it. But
it's very small. This is where it would be.
It was traumatic. I don't even want to think about it. But
What'd you do?
I just went on with the lines like it was there. And I don't think and I was talking to my friend afterward. He said, what happened? I didn't notice anything. So there you go.
Right. Yeah, it's different from if you go, you see this, opposed to like, I have this tattoo right here.
No,
it's like,
it was facing out to the audience. So I just kept going with the line. Looking back, I would have done a better improv, but I was so taken. It was so shocking that it was. Well,
crazy. Again, it's always interesting on an acting level too, because if you watch a lot of movies, you'll notice in some movies the editing will reveal that nothing is matching in a scene, but you never notice it because you're concentrating on the character. So it's a compliment to the scene that you were in if they're focused on what you're saying instead of what you're showing.
Yeah.
So you do all of this stuff, And then you end up on the Love Boat, the next wave. Now, obviously,
I do have an element I need to throw in. It's a nice little Hollywood thing. In 94, 95, I had an agent, a small agent, that went out of business. They said, Randy, they notify their clients, we're pulling up stakes and that's it. So just to let you know, so you can look for other representation. So I said, oh, okay. So my last audition they sent me on was for a pilot. And I go in for the audition and I get called back to network. Say, maybe it was like a Tuesday. I get called into network on Tuesday. The next day, my manager had got me an interview with William Morris, with John Kimball at William Morris.
Oh, wow.
Who had basically discovered Bruce Willis, was his first agent. And my manager knew John, and I went into that meeting, that general meeting, knowing that I was up for a pilot and I could possibly get the part at any second. So they knew that. So they said, yeah, we'll sign you because you might be a series regular tomorrow morning. The next day I found out I didn't get it. But I was with William Morris, so it was kind of a lose-win. And being with an agency like that really helps things a lot.
Oh, for sure.
And
for those that don't know, William Morris is this big agency, so all the projects come to them. They're a great filtering system. And if you're a casting person, the casting people's job is to know the actors, as far as like know what actors they want. But if you're unfamiliar with an actor and you get a call from, Bob's talent agency and insurance versus William Morris, you're more likely to see the actor who's being called and represented by William Morris. So this was a huge deal.
Yeah, so that was a huge deal. And, things changed after that. And that's when one day I was with them and they sent me an audition. So their UPN network is starting up. Remember in the late 90s?
Yep. And the United Paramount Network and Warner Brothers Network started at the same time.
They said they're redoing the Love Boat. And you have an audition for the new bartender. I said, okay. So I read the sides and I'm going, oh my God, this is so cheesy. Which was, you get a lot of cheesy stuff and
you don't want a gritty Love Boat.
A streetwise Love Boat.
Right, exactly.
So I said,
so you're auditioning for the bartender. Were you working on your Isaacs?
No.
Your Isaac finger guns?
No, actors, they want to do our own thing. We don't want to repeat. Yeah. That was such a classic Ted Lange thing. So I got the audition through fax. Remember the faxes we used to get our auditions, that little thin paper? Yeah. So I read it. Yeah. So I read it. I'm going, oh God, I was so unexcited about it. And I've been an actor, like 16 years. So I'd just gone through a bout of burnout where I thought I wanted to go back to college and graduate and do something else in my life. I thought I was wasting a lot of my time. So I go to this audition. It goes. Oops, sorry. It goes all right, and I get a call back. And I walk into the room over there in Century City, I think, and there's about 15 people in the room with Aaron Spelling.
Wow.
And as actors, that's really nervous time when you walk into a room, depending upon the energy of all those people. And that, you walk into a room, sometimes they're just looking at you like they're at a funeral and you're supposed to be great and perform, dealing with this kind of energy. This energy was so positive and energetic and smiles and welcoming. And,
that's nice.
And I did the audition and I went to network and I ended up getting it. And we shot the pilot. We did a cruise out of Fort Lauderdale for a week, all around the Caribbean and back.
Oh, Randy.
Oh, tough life. And then we did another week. And then when the show got picked up, we went back and did another week cruise. And that's where I met Joan Severance, your favorite, and
your favorite aforementioned hottie. But also Phil Morris was on the show, who is a friend of mine from voiceover, who I love Phil.
I love Phil.
And I've never worked with him. God rest his soul. I always heard Robert Urich was a really good guy. What was your experience with him?
Good guy. Just really good guy. He just friendly and approachable and normal. And, you know, I mean, he'd worked with Aaron Spelling a lot before. And
Yeah.
and when you're with somebody like Robert Urich, you figure it out. You're like, oh, if you're a good guy, you're going to work a lot. It seems like it's about relationships in Hollywood, really. The key is making those, you know, meeting those people, meeting the relation, you know, getting a relationship started. So anyway, Robert was great, and everybody was great, and the guest stars, I was like, I can't believe it. I mean, some of these, you know, Carol Lawrence from the Carol Burnett show came on, and she played this wacky character, and I was, wow, look at her go. And we had a reunion episode with the old cast. Came on, and Gavin MacLeod. My mom was on the set. She came to visit, and he and my mom started talking, and they were both Christians, and they had a lot to talk. They had a lot in common, and they were just talking all the time in between. I said, "Wow, look at that!" And I guess my mom had told him. She told me this later. She says, "Yeah." He was asking her, "Oh, do you watch this and do you watch that?" And my mom said, "You know, my TV's not working too well, and you really don't watch too much TV." He bought her a television and sent my mother a brand new television.
Whoa!
Yeah, and just so he was just such a great guy. And
what a class act!
In this business, when you grow up and you're watching people, and then you meet them and work with them, and they go beyond your expectations, makes you feel really good about your career choice. You know.
Well, it's amazing because that particular show, I actually did 2 of the original ones. I did 2 episodes of Love Boat with Gavin, and I did one with, and why am I forgetting her name? She played Vicky, and she was on the podcast, and we were talking about it, and it's like, what's crazy about it, you guys did, 22 episodes?
Yeah, we did maybe more than that, pushing 30, maybe 25.
Oh, okay, so like 30, so with 30 episodes, the numbering of it is, on a Love Boat sequence, you've got like 3 stories. Each one of those stories has like 2 stars, and each one of those stars is like a big guest star. So each episode has 6 of these big guest stars. So you're working with a lot of big people in this business, like you were saying. Now, I want to know from your point of view, I remember the show. I thought it was a good version. I thought that you guys did a good job. But because the first show is so beloved, did you run into any like resistance from people saying, you know, like giving you shit for making a new Love Boat?
I don't remember any of that. I remember what a fun shoot it was, and I thought, well, it's going to be hard to overcome the original, and people just don't want to see this anymore, even though Robert Urich and Phil Morris and all these great guest stars, Michelle Phillips, Jessica Alba, I remember, was whenever she was on the show. And
gee, why do you remember Jessica Alba?
I don't know. I just with this one scene, and I happened to be working that day. I know what I wanted to mention. Because of that show, Aaron Spelling and Ricardo Montalban were good friends. And he ended up playing my father in an episode.
Oh my God! How cool is that?
It was great. He was from the same hometown my father was from, and we had so much to talk about it. And he was so happy for me and so proud of me. He told me, and you know, good luck. You know, you're going to be great. And by that time, in '99, his legs were not well, and he had to be in a wheelchair. So his character was in a wheelchair, and we were estranged in the show. And so we had these arguments, this scene where we were arguing with each other, and really this father and son trying to come together. And we ultimately come together, and there's love on the Love Boat between father and son. But you know, working with Ricardo, that was kind of surreal. You know, this golden age Hollywood actor and a Mexican actor. Not a lot. There were not a lot of people like him. A handful of people, him, Rita Moreno, and you know, a couple other people maybe.
Well, let's get to the meat of the show here. Joan Severance, tell me about you.
You got a lot of nerve, baby.
I got a lot of nerve.
So
I'll jump ahead. Where that comes from is one day Randy shows up on set at JAG, and off in a corner he's hidden Joan Severance, who is visiting him. And I come up to Randy and I go, "You got a lot of nerve for bringing Joan Severance here." That's where this is all coming from.
No, it was the way you said it. You under your breath, like, "You got a lot of nerve. What the hell do you think you're doing? You're a rookie." I said, "Hey man, when you're making a first impression, you can't mess it up."
Well done.
I've been thinking about this, Patrick. I think, why did Joan, how did she talk me into bringing her to the set? What happened was Joan was a little bit ahead of her time. She's such an intelligent woman and classy and all that stuff. She was doing actors' websites way back then. Wow. And she did my website, randyvasquez.com, and she was doing friends, other celebrities, and I think, did she ask you if you needed a website per chance? I don't know. I think that's why she wanted to.
Oh, I don't think I talked to her because I was just too afraid to go talk to Joan Severance.
You got a lot of nerve, but I think that's
got a lot of nerve.
I think that that's she wanted to kind of get her business. I could be wrong. I haven't talked to Joan in so long.
Oh, I have no idea if there was any ulterior motives, but I mean also. It's just our gig. Like if friends working, take me to the set because you never know. Right guy could see you, and Joan's great actor, and she's beautiful. There's no reason she couldn't have picked up a gig as an actor there as well.
True. I mean, I remember some of the guest stars on JAG, like Trisha Yearwood.
Yep.
Billy Ray Cyrus. No, that was on Love Boat, I think. Trisha Yearwood.
No, that was Love Boat, yeah.
I remember they brought in that ex-Navy SEAL that was on Survivor, like the first season of Survivor. He won.
Rudy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember John Jackson was so angry. He says, "How can they give a part to a non-actor? He's taking a job away from an actor." Remember John would get like that? That was great.
Yeah. I remember one of my favorite stories about John is, I'd sit there and I'd read the trades. I'd read Variety and the Hollywood Reporter, and I'd have him in my chair. And John was like this big old Texan who just didn't have time. And but lovable. I'm one of my favorite people. And he was just sitting there in his chair, and he didn't have anything to do, and he's looking around. He'd already memorized his lines. I go, "John, you want to read a trade?" He goes, "I don't read those trades. They make me upset." I'm like, "Well, why?" Why? And he goes, "'Cause you're always reading about jobs you didn't get." And I'm like, "Okay, well, they're here if you want them." And then 20 minutes later, he picks one up, and I swear to you, Randy, it went like this. He picks one up. "Ah, hell!" And he throws it down. Like as soon as he picks it up, he goes, "Mitch just got another job." And it was like Mitch Pileggi from, his buddy that was on X-Files, where it was just a quick story about John. I just love John. Oh, yeah. Well, while we're here, okay, so how did JAG happen for you? I know where I was. We were working, and then they bring on this character. How did you find out about it? What was your audition like?
I can tell you exactly. Oh, it was in early June. I remember this. Early June of 1999. Find out Love Boat gets canceled. And at the same time, there was a lot of noise by the Latino groups in Hollywood, the coalitions, because the new season had just been announced of what shows were going to be on. And there were, I don't remember exactly, but I guess there were no Latinos in lead roles in the series. And there was a bunch of press. And in the middle of this, you have this audition for JAG, for the Gunny over at Paramount.
Uh-huh.
So I walk into the audition. Melissa Scoff is the casting director. I'm sure Charles Johnson was in there, maybe Mark Horowitz, and of course Don was in there.
Yeah.
And hey, how you doing? Hi. And Don's going, "Well, we're determined to get a Latino character on this show." I'll never forget him saying that. We're determined to get a Latino.
What does that feel like? I
heard that, and then I did my audition. I read with Melissa, and because they were bringing the character on. I was testifying in a trial about something.
Right.
And I guess that was the scene I read. And then I found out that I got it. And, but I think all that noise going on about no Latinos in any of the shows, Don heard that and he responded. And I'll always love him for that, because I had a good run on that show, a number one show. Not many people can say that. And then he put me on another show, and he wrote, it was a quality job, quality episodes. And
the thing about Don, and we've talked about all these people, to the people that worked with Don, it's surprising me that he like addressed the Hispanic aspect of it or Latino aspect of it, because Gunny was Gunny. It never felt like he was like, oh, and he's the Mexican dude. It was like, it was just Gunny, right? I mean, was that the way you remember it, or was
Well,
it
I found
different?
out the story was, maybe you'll remember, the story was that somebody who worked in the office, in the JAG office, in production.
Uh-huh.
Her husband was her name was Victor Galindez. Her husband was named Victor Galindez. And so the writer, one of the writers just used her name.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then they wrote, who wrote it? I think it was Steven Zito wrote People versus Gunny.
Right.
The gay episode with
you and Tyner and like.
And in that episode, that was my episode, really. And they gave me a background. I was from New Mexico, and I had a drinking problem. I had a drinking problem, but I was a really good Marine, etc. And so that was the character. I guess that was the Bible on that character, or whatever they did for my background.
So you grew up in Escondido, which is literally right next to the Marine Corps base, right there.
Pendleton.
Did that impact on at Camp Pendleton?
Yeah, I went there.
Did that impact you at all?
I went there. That was in next to Oceanside. I never went to Oceanside much growing up, but whenever I did, there were lots of Marines around. And, we played Oceanside High School in sports and baseball and basketball. But I never really went there, and I'd never been to Camp Pendleton, because as you're driving down the 5 freeway, those mountains on the east, on the other side is where Camp Pendleton is. Did you go to Camp Pendleton?
Yeah, we shot there for a couple of episodes.
Okay, so it's on the other side.
It's massive.
You can't really see it. You can't see it from the freeway. So I went there, and I went there one day, and the show set it up for me, and I met a bunch of people, and I got a tour and met guys, and everybody was great, but then, of course, Matt Siglock. Got to talk about him.
Got to talk Matt, our sergeant, our gunnery sergeant, Matt Siglock.
He was our technical advisor, and he was by me for every shot I was in. He would check me out. He would make sure that my things were all squared away, and you're looking good, Marine, and all this stuff. And he would look and he'd pat my shoulders. All right, let's go. And
here's the funny thing.
Remember, everybody would yell for Matt. Siglock, hey! He'd come running.
So Matt Siglock is this massive. He looks like He-Man from He-Man Masters of the Universe. He's this big bodybuilder guy and a full-on Marine, like a real life Marine. He's like a Marine, and his job was technical advisor. And so we were Navy JAGs, and so in my life, I love Matt, and he treated me with great respect. But I always felt like he was looking at us like these pussy Navy guys that I got a blouse. And when like Mac came on and it was like she was a Marine and you who were a Marine, you guys got different dispensation from him because you were part of his family.
I know.
And it was so funny.
I remember that. Oh my God. That set was nothing but laughs. We went to work to do our scenes, but in between, we were teasing each other and whatever we could find to laugh about.
Yeah.
And Matt and Diamond Farnsworth, the stunt coordinator, was. It was just laughs and good times. That's what I remember.
We had, and I mean, you said you saw David's episode.
Yeah.
For David and some other people, I mean, for David for sure, who's in literally almost every frame of every scene, different than you or I, where if you're shooting Monday through Friday and it takes 8 days to shoot an episode of JAG, I might work the 8th day of one episode and the first day of another. So I've just done 2 episodes in 2 days. And meanwhile, David's there every day. Same with Gunny. Like, you're working a couple of days, sometimes more, but it's like there is time to breathe. Not for David, not for Catherine. And then plus the crew. Now, you've done a number of these other NCIS shows. Practically the same crew that was on JAG. Yeah. It's the same guys. I mean, everyone talks about the crew and it's like, oh, thank you guys to the crew. The crew's the one that you're with all the time. They're the guys that you love hanging out with. And it was a great crew.
Billy, what was his name? The camera operator?
Billy Webb.
Yes.
Yeah, Billy Webb and Brian Bernstein were the camera guys. Sean was our sound guy.
Sean, I went down to San Clemente one Thanksgiving and spent Thanksgiving with him and his family on the beach.
Yep.
He boiled a turkey in one of his boilers, oil boilers, whatever it was. That was great.
He was the type of guy that who's the star of Airwolf? Jan Michael Vincent. When Jan Michael Vincent was like down on his luck and was like at the lowest point, he was living with Sean. Sean was taking care of him. That's the kind of guy that Sean was.
Yeah.
Or is. I don't, it's like, but yeah, a lot of great people. So you joined JAG.
Yeah.
What's your first thought when you hit the set? Like, what kind of?
Wow. I don't remember. I remember, wow, I'm going to have this Marine haircut for a long time. And I hated it. Oh, God, I like long hair. I've always loved my hair long. And I was like.
You looked really good, though. You had to appreciate at least that you looked really good as a Marine.
Didn't feel that great, but I sucked it up. And
like a Marine.
Yeah, I mean, what did I think? I thought, okay, I'm coming onto this show that's been around for 5 years already, but everybody was great. You guys made it easy. You made it easy. I was a guest star, basically. That first year, I didn't have a contract. I would just be asked, is Randy available to do this episode? And I was, yeah. And I don't know. It was great. I don't remember any issues. It was, I just had to do my job, do my work. That's it. Just do my thing. And I guess they started to like the character a lot. And Don took a real liking to me. I remember that pilot season, or maybe it was a pilot season after that. He paid me $50,000 not to audition for any pilots because he had a series in mind for me, a detective kind of series, kind of like a
Dreamland,
a Quantum Leap thing that I recall. It didn't happen.
It was a show that he wrote they were prepping a pilot. I believe it was called Dreamland, where the guy would kind of solve crimes in this dream space that he had. Yeah. And so he was thinking of that. He was thinking of you for that.
Well, I don't know if it was a lead or what part. I never saw a script or anything, but he paid me not to audition.
Why would you pay that much if it's just some dude?
I remember that day my manager said, this is what they want. They want to pay you. I was so happy not to have to audition. And then, $50,000. I'm like, wow.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Back after these messages. Hey there, I'm Patrick Labyorteaux, and I've been an actor since I was a little kid, so I know what it's like to be a little kid actor. So I have a class here called Youth Weekly, and that meets every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, and it is an awesome class if you are young and want to learn all about acting. We have a great set of kids, and it's taught on Zoom, so you can do it from anywhere. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, on an iPad. It's awesome. I've had kids take a class while they were in the car coming back from soccer practice. I swear to you. So if acting is in your blood, come to workingactorschool.com and check out the Youth Weekly class every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. I'll see you there. Act 3, present day. So you're doing it, and then you get along with Don. What I liked about it, I'll talk about you because you can't really talk about you, but what I liked about your performance in JAG, which, again, when you have a large cast, everyone is fulfilling a different role. And you had a really great ability to, as everyone's seeing now, you can laugh, you're funny, but like Victor was extremely by the book, extremely straight and moral, and would back anybody up if they needed. Like, he was a great friend, right? One of the great qualities that they gave to Bud as well, somebody that would be there for you. And Victor was like that as well. Gunny was always there for you. But you also had like this deadpan delivery that played really well, that if you don't do it right, can be boring. But it wasn't. You did it like perfect. How did you, when you're thinking about Victor, you read the sides, do you decide how deadpan or how serious you're going to play this character?
As I recall, I played it a lot like, these guys are candy asses. I'm the heart. These guys are such candy asses. Whatever. But don't.
That's it exactly. You're exactly right.
I would say that through the deliveries, and that's what I remember. And just serious.
That's the perfect description.
Yeah. Don't let anybody into my thoughts. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We got this for you. You need to go over here. Chegwood, Mr. Colonel. What was Colonel Chegwood? Was it Colonel Chegwood? I forget.
No, Admiral Chegwood, and yeah, it was Colonel Mackenzie, and then later General. The last guy that was there was the JAG.
Okay, so that was kind of my recipe for gunneries.
So conversely, when you did do the other show for Don, it was First Monday, and that guy was Personality Plus. Yeah. So how did you transition from, just let me set it up a little bit. Don created a show about the Supreme Court in the same year that another show was created about the Supreme Court starring Sally Field. This one, First Monday, starred James Garner, Charles Durning, yourself. Murderer's Row of like really great actors. Wow. And then it was kind of set in the same JAG universe, but you were a different character. Yeah. So how did that come about?
Yeah, Joe Mantegna was the lead, and
right.
Supreme Court justices have clerks that kind of write up their opinions, and Joe's character had 3 clerks. I was one of the 3 clerks, and he was a Cuban American and kind of a loudmouth, opinionated, lawyer. He's a lawyer. The Gunny was not a lawyer. Gunny was an enlisted man. Just, didn't show his feelings and just took orders and gave orders. But I don't even remember my character's name on First Monday. I forgot to look, but that was him.
Let's call him Lawyer Gunny.
Yeah. And I just went with the writing. Yeah. I remember one time Don was directing an episode, and he wrote me a line, and I don't remember what the line is, but it didn't feel right to me. I said, this line is, I don't want to say this. I don't want to say this.
And so let me clear the way. So you're about to tell Don Belisario you don't like a line that he wrote.
You can see what's coming. I can. And I've never done this. I've never questioned anything in the show, but I guess
Miguel Mora is your character name.
So we're in between setups, and he's sitting there. I go, hey Don, this line that I don't know if he would say this. This doesn't. And he's listening to me and looks at me and he just say the line. He said that a million times. Just say the line. Okay, you got it, man.
Well done. Yeah, I'll make it work.
So that's funny. You get a series, you get a regular on a series, and hey, man, don't think I'll just change this monologue, this dialogue around it. No, not with Don. So that was a little embarrassing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When you see actors on interview shows and like, we practically made up most of our dialogue, it's like, and you're making enemies all the way around because it's not like anyone wants that. I mean, it can be collaborative for sure. Obviously, you can talk about things, you can change things, you can open up, but it's like Don Belisario is a multi-millionaire. He created like 10 of the best TV shows ever. Yeah. It's like he knows what he's doing.
I thought I did.
Well, you also do. I mean, that's the thing. It is collaborative, but you have levels. Yeah. It's like he knows more about you. I mean, he knows more about making TV than you do. But you know more about acting than he does. So it's like you had a right to ask, but he has a right to shut you down.
Just say the line. You got a lot of nerve asking me to change.
You got a lot of nerve. So between Charles being on the show and Mark being on the show, we've had a lot of James Garner talk because they both worked with him on Rockford. I also talked about James Garner because when you guys were doing First Monday, he did the most amazing thing is that he would sit on set and wait to work. He wouldn't go back to his trailer. What was it like working with these classic, Charles Durning, James Garner, Joe Mantegna?
Yeah, I never worked.
How was that?
I never worked with James Gardner. I might have met him, been introduced to him. But I do have a Charles Durning story that I wanted to tell, and that was, what a sweet man. We were, I don't know if I had a scene with him. Maybe I had a big scene with everybody in the cast or something. Anyway, we were at Craft Services, and we were talking, and he started talking about being in World War II.
Damn.
This probably had something to do with 9/11, which I'll circle back to. But so we're getting some snacks in between shots, and he started talking about, and he was in the D-Day invasion, and he was rappelling up the cliff when he was wounded.
Oh my God.
He was shot and wounded, rappelling up the cliffs at D-Day, and he said something that I've never forgotten, and he said, "The people who make war don't know war." And the way he said it, he was eating some M&Ms or something, I don't know, and I was going, okay. Yeah. And so and another memory from First Monday is Debbie Reynolds got cast to play his love interest.
Uh-huh.
And I saw her on the list, on the schedule, and I wasn't working that day. It was one of those things that actors, I wasn't working that day, but I went in to see this certain person work.
Yeah.
So I went in, and she was making an entrance into Charles Durning's office. He was one of the justices on the Supreme Court, of course. And I watched her prepare right before she made her entrance. And she was just standing there, and she's kind of talking to herself. And same thing with Ricardo Montalban, his preparation right before the scene. They were kind of doing this auto-suggestion, kind of mumbling to themselves to get them into the moment. And I thought, wow, I do that too. And I've seen we all do that. It's kind of
some version of it for sure. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, if Debbie Reynolds was doing this on First Monday, said she was probably doing that in, Singing in the Rain or some of these other classics. And so that's what I wanted to watch. And that was the lesson I learned. And she made her entrance, and it was this big, exuberant Debbie Reynolds. "Oh, hello, darling. I thought I'd bring you these. And if you were hungry, and here's some flowers for your desk." And And I said, okay, I'll go home now. I saw this. And, but
it is amazing when, because you've been doing it long enough, I've been doing it long enough, where you have those interactions with a person who then travels you back to the 30s, 40s, 50s of their career, and you get to see it, and you're like, and it is a kind of continuum because you took that in. Obviously, you're telling the story here, so it meant a lot, and I'm sure it affects you in the same way today as it did at that moment.
Yeah, it affects me in that no matter how big a star or legend you are, we all, as actors, we all do the same kind of work. We're all connected that way. There are no geniuses. I mean, there are maybe, but there's a way to do it. And sometimes beginning actors or actors who haven't worked a lot kind of freak out and like, what do I do? You know, they don't have a kind of a technique yet formed and that they can trust. It's going to work because it's worked. Because they
a lot of times too, as an actor, you'll relate to this. You have a magic moment, and you're in the moment, or you nail the scene, or you had the right emotion at exactly the right time, and the performance you give is astounding, and you're astounded by it yourself. And a lot of times, if you're not technique trained or if you don't have experience, it can freak you out because you go, well, how do I do that again? What do I do? What did I do? And it's all based in having to know whatever school of it that you went through of how to get into a character and sustain a character, especially for TV.
And TV, exactly.
Over a number of episodes.
I was going to say.
Were you doing JAG and First Monday at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah, I had that.
How was that going back and forth between those two characters?
Well, I had the Marine haircut, and Don thought it was too extreme for the First Monday character, so they painted my hair in and gave me some extra hair or something because they didn't want me to look like a Marine on that show. That I remember, the pilot for that show.
This is like people are going to roll their eyes. I was on the show. I know you. I don't know this answer, so I'm asking. After First Monday, did you come back to JAG, or was that?
I think I don't recall. I think I did because remember, Patrick. Once 9/11 happened, the show just changed the world. It changed the show. We started going all over the world in the storylines, and that's when I left the JAG office, and I was going with Stephen Culp to South America, to the Middle East, fighting terrorists.
Action figure gunning.
Yeah. So I think that I probably shot some stuff after First Monday got canceled because we did 13 shows, and it didn't work, which was a shock to me with all those stars in it.
Well, like I said, at the setup, though, there was another Supreme Court show, and they literally canceled each other out. The other one didn't.
Yeah, I guess so.
It didn't. You know, it was sort of like it didn't resonate. And of course, as we all roll our eyes, any one of your episodes' numbers would be like a major hit today. It's just a different time now.
Yeah.
So when the show ends and you're done with that, you've worked a ton still since then. Nip Tuck, NCIS, CSI Miami, all the initial shows, Miami. Shameless, Will and Grace, SWAT, but you were in Bosch, and I love Bosch. And Bosch is that show that if you've seen it, you love it. If you've never seen it, you see it on Amazon, and you go, what the hell is Bosch? But it's great. How was your experience on Bosch?
It was like you said, it was great. I mean, Titus Williver, wow. And Michael, what's his last name? The writer of the series, the novelist?
Connolly?
Right.
Connolly?
I read, when I found out I got the job, man, I remember auditioning for that, and he was right behind the camera, staring right. And then I had to. It was a recurring role, a DA, and Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon had to approve me. I was waiting the whole weekend to see if they were going to approve me, and they did. But I got into his novels. I'd never read detective novels before, and I read about 4 or 5 of his novels just like that.
Uh-huh.
And there was one novel, I think, with the Bosch character called Echo Park, and that's what the first season was based on. And
okay,
yeah, and so I was on the first 4 episodes, reunited with Stephen Culp, I played.
Oh, really? Steven was in there. I didn't know that.
He was the DA. I was the deputy DA, I think.
Okay.
And we weren't too on the level, as I recall. But that was a great experience working on that show as briefly as it was.
What do you get from Titus? Because like I enjoy his performances a lot, but I don't know anything about him. I don't know him personally. What was that like?
Yeah, he's a tough guy. He's a guy. He's a guy's guy. And when you're doing the scenes, you talk about improv. He would throw stuff in, and you had to be ready for his. They were right for the scene. I'm not just saying he would go off just to show off, but I remember we were doing a scene one time, and we were going after a criminal, and we caught some guy, and he was handcuffing him or something, and he was having problems with the handcuffs or something, and I was standing there next to him, and he's going, and I'm watching him. He says, "Help me!" He's just standing there, and I'm going, "Wow, okay, there's a refresher. There's a new one to add to the technique. Be in the scene, stay in the scene, be in the moment, et cetera, et cetera. Don't let your fellow actors be hanging like that." But it was great scripts, great directors. I still have one of those.
It's just if no one's ever seen Bosch, it's really worth just watch the first episode, and if you'll know if you're a Bosch person because you'll want to see the next one immediately, or it won't be your thing. But it's great from the first minute.
It was very successful.
And then also you're doing Running Season, which is like this new Kate. What's her
Running Point
name? Running Point?
Is that what it's called?
Is that it? Well, running. Of course it is. Of course you'll know the name of it. It's like no, it's Running Season, Randy. I've changed the name.
That was Netflix loosely based on the Lakers and the Bus family, the owners.
Yeah.
Or the former owners. And I had a telephone scene with Kate Hudson. We didn't even meet. We just shot it separately.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
But that was fun, and you're talking about technique and TV directors. When any young TV actors that are listening to this, do not rely on your director. Be prepared, because most of the time they won't direct you because they got to move on, and that's how it is in TV land. That's been my experience, and the director on that show didn't give me any direction. I just did the scene, and after we did one take, I thought, okay, he's not going to say anything. I'm just he's waiting for me to make magic.
Yeah.
So that was a nice.
You're 3/8 of a page on his schedule, and he needs to get to the other scene.
So, these are all all lessons. You not only get a good job on a good show and you get paid, but you learn. You keep getting better.
Well, talking about directors, you've done like a number of documentaries that are award-winning. Why directing? How do you get into the documentaries and why?
In 1980, I've always liked documentaries. Many people do, but I saw one in 1981. The one that won the Academy Award was called Best Boy, and it was about this middle-aged, mentally retarded man. I think he lived in the Bronx or Queens or something. And it's simply about his life and his parents, his elderly parents who were raising him, and, struggling with raising somebody in that condition and at that age who still has to live at home. And it made such an emotional impact on me that I never forgot it. And I think subconsciously I always wanted to make something like that. So my documentary work, I prefer documentaries about individuals and their journeys as opposed to topical documentaries like the Civil War or whatever.
That makes sense as an actor related to the character.
My documentaries are extension of the work I do as an actor, which is why do people do what they do? Where are they from? What motivates them in this scene or in this story? And I did a film on a woman from El Salvador who had escaped the civil war there and had gotten political asylum here in the States. And we went back to El Salvador and visited her family, and the place is place where she got kidnapped by the death squads and survived all that ordeal. And great experience, great woman. I think she reminded me of my grandmother. There was this attraction. She was an older woman, and just a great story and a great survivor story. And that led to another individual, an American Indian from South Dakota, from Wounded Knee, and his dealing with his childhood in the government boarding schools, the American Indian boarding schools, where they would take American Indian children from their families and put them in these locations, and they weren't allowed to speak their language or really they took their identities away, really, their languages, their religions. It was an assimilation effort to Americanize the Indians, bring them into the American culture.
Is it too clumsy for me to make the connection to the Galleon and changing your name to relating to that, or is that something that was part of it?
I think no, you're right, because my 3 documentaries are about one's own ethnic identity and accepting that. And these 2 individuals, Maria and Walter, were so strong in their, I want to say, ethnic identity that I really admired that, and I wanted to put a light on that.
Right.
People who are oppressed, put down for being who they are, have a much harder time at life than other people. How they overcome those struggles and falls, and how they accept themselves, and that was kind of my journey. But it was.
Is there a way we can see these? Give me the titles, because I have them here, but I don't want to. I don't want to read
my
them. My
first
testimony,
the Maria Guardado story. The second one is called The Thick Dark Fog with Walter Littlemoon. And then I did out of that one. I was asked to do another one about a Blackfeet family from around Browning, Montana. And that was a bit more of an upbeat story as a family, kind of a.
That's Badger Creek.
That's Badger Creek, yeah. And those Thick Dark Fog and Badger Creek, me and my partner got PBS grants for those, so those were on PBS.
Excellent.
More rural affiliates. And so,
I just found out about them, so I'm gonna be checking them out.
Yeah,
make sure that people can find them as well.
thickdarkfog.com and badgercreek.org, and I have a link.
Did Joan Severance make those websites?
No. and testimony, my first one, I have a link that I can share with people. And
if you want, send them to me and I'll put them in the description. Okay. So I'll have links for all of that.
We'll be back after. The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait, order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
these messages. Hey, I'm Patrick Labyorteaux, and I play an actor on TV, and I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I know what it's like if you are in a class with people, and sometimes you just want to have that one-on-one connection with the person that you're working with to go over, I don't know, a particular scene, or maybe you have an audition, or maybe you just want the privacy to try stuff that you don't really know is going to work and not have anyone look at you. Well, I have the perfect solution for you. It's called One-on-One with Patrick Labyorteaux. You can book your time at workingactorschool.com, and it's just me and you for an hour going over whatever it is you want to work on, breaking down the script, talking about character, figuring out your intention, the spine of the scene, everything that goes in to making a dynamite performance. So if you're interested in acting and want that one-on-one personal attention, check out One-on-One with Patrick Labyorteaux. You can find all the information you need at workingactorschool.com. Act 4, questions. All right, man. So we're here in Act 4. We're here at the questions, and I call these questions, or they're called Tina's Gotta Know, because Tina came up with all these questions. My wife.
You got a lot in there, Tina. You got.
So of course Tina worked with us as well on JAG. That Showbiz is the first one. What would you say is your most Hollywood moment in life, Randy Vasquez?
Well, I think I already mentioned it, and that was when Bob Marcucci, my manager, came up to me in the break during acting class and said, "Hey, kid, you want to be a star?"
Yeah, I don't know if you could beat the Idol Maker asking if you want to be a star. That's got to be the best one.
That's that. I can't. It's hard to top that. So.
Okay, number 2, that Showbiz Part 2. What is the most embarrassing Hollywood moment in your life?
I think we talked about that too. Butt naked on the Hollywood sign in the middle of the O. A lot of therapy to deal with that one.
Well, I mean, it's an iconic picture of which I will try to find on the internet and place right here.
Go to YouTube. I think it's on YouTube.
There you go. Number 3, show me the money. What has been your biggest missed financial opportunity?
Boy, I've been pretty lucky, but I would have to say something like, after JAG and First Monday, it had taken me 18 years to get JAG. So there were a lot of burnout, and a lot of times I wanted to quit. So after I got all that money from those shows, I bought a house out in the desert, and I spent a lot of time out there for the next 5 years. And I think I might have, relinquished a lot of opportunities, but my dream was to live in the desert, and that's what I wanted to do. And I kind of turned away from the business and maybe for some money, but yeah.
Okay, well, this leads to a new question that we're adding. Show me something different. If you didn't do what you do, what would you do? So well put, Patrick. If you weren't an actor, what would you do?
A park ranger, maybe something in the outdoors. I mean, I tried to be a baseball player. I wanted to be a baseball player like everybody else, and that didn't work out. But
well, isn't there a baseball player named Randy Vasquez?
There is. He's a pitcher.
You'd have to change your name.
He's a Dominican pitcher. It's funny because my Instagram is Randy Vasquez 3, and his is Randy Vasquez 5. So there's 3 others that got there before we did. Something in the outdoors, Patrick. I don't know. I love nature. I love the
That's fair. Next one is show and tell. As a teenager, what was the favorite poster in your room, and how did you come to get it?
It had to be some baseball team. Probably, I used to like the Dodgers a lot when I was a kid. I hate them now, but back then I didn't. And
well, how dare you? What do you hate about the Dodgers?
Go Padres.
World champions.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I mean, sure. Like local Padres makes a lot of sense.
So I don't remember any, celebrity posters, but my heroes were baseball people. So I had probably baseball. Yeah.
Well, that kind of goes back to, you were so intent on being an actor, but how big a deal was the choice then between athletics and acting for you? Because you're a big guy.
Well,
you could have been a baseball player.
Big guy. Well, I tried out for the team at UCLA, and I got cut after my batting tryout. I didn't barely get it out of the infield. And so that ended right there, but it cleared the way for being an actor. And
did UCLA quarterback Mark Harmon rub it in your face?
I never told him about it. I didn't tell him about it, no. Great guy, though. Yeah, that's...
Next question is Showdown. What, in acting-wise, what do you think your best thing you ever did was and the worst thing you ever did was?
Best and worst?
What are you most proud of and least proud of as far as your performances?
There's a lot of bests. Performance. Maybe when I would say best... the best thing I ever decided to be was an actor, and the worst thing I ever decided to be was an actor. But no, the best, my favorite job was probably one of my time is I did an off-Broadway show at Circle Rep Theater in the Village in New York City.
Oh, that's a big deal.
That was a famous off-Broadway house, and I was very proud to work and live in New York for a couple of years. I stayed there and I did some shows and studied, and I always wanted to do that, and that was my bucket list, and I did that. Oh, the worst is, it's a little thing. It was a showcase I did that was just horribly put together, and somehow people came, and the scenes were horrible, and that was a low point. That was a very low point, but I bounced back.
I hated showcases, man. Tiny little black box theaters.
Exactly.
And smell of the shrimp that you bought at Ralph's, and just like, oh, this horrible little place.
It was. But pain, man, pain. It was on Western up by Franklin. There's a little theater.
Yep. The complex is not far from there.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of those little things. No show. What part did you want but didn't get?
Moneyball. The movie Moneyball.
What part of Moneyball were you
It
for?
wasn't a major. It was Eric Chavez. Eric Chavez was a third baseman for the Oakland A's during that period of Billy Beane. Actually, I played against Billy Beane in high school.
No way.
Down in North County, and he was a monster. He was a man among boys. I did get a hit off him, though. I got a hit off him.
That's pretty cool. That's a nice
Moneyball, because I had met Eric Chavez. I'd played when I was doing JAG, I got invited to play a celebrity softball game up at Oakland Coliseum before a Oakland A's game. And after the game, we got invited to a restaurant, like a post-game party kind of dinner, and we were shooting pool, and I was shooting pool with Eric Chavez, and we were talking. Great guy. I had a great time. And then when the audition came up a few years later, I said, I got to get this, man. I know the guy. I met the guy. It's a sign. It's a sign.
Yeah.
It was not a sign. I didn't get it. Man. To play a baseball player, that would have been great. I still want to play. Well, I could play a coach now, I guess. But that was the one.
Yeah, that's a great story for that.
Also,
question, for
I'll
sure.
throw in an optional story that
the
first season I got cast on the 4th episode of Friends, and I got fired after the reading by Jim Burrows. And that was.
What do you think it was? I mean, did you just suck, or was it like they went a different direction?
I've been on sitcoms where actors have come into the first reading and then they're not there anymore. They cut characters. They have to cut stuff. For the time element, they got to get the. And Jim Burrows, you got to think that his instincts are pretty good.
Yeah,
a character that's right or something's not right. And I remember we did
that had to hurt because Friends was always
this was before it was a hit. This was only the 4th episode. None of those guys, nobody knew who they were. It was the 4th episode. Okay. We did the reading. I walked back to the my green room. My buzzer. Remember we had buzzers back then, beepers.
Yep.
My agent. I called my agent. Hey, what's going on? They just fired you. They just let you go. And right as
they didn't even bother to walk to your green room to tell you.
And right as my agent was telling me that, Jennifer Aniston and the blonde, I'm sorry, who was the blonde?
Lisa Kudrow.
Lisa Kudrow walk in. Oh, hi, Randy. Good reading. And I put the phone down. I said, I just got fired. And I remember Jennifer Aniston went, mortified. It scared the crap out of her. And I'm saying, and they were, oh my God. They were feeling so bad for me. I said, well, good luck. I hope it's show. So I walk out of the studio there at Warner Brothers, and I'm walking down the street, and I'm stunned. I'm going,
yeah,
I suck. I'm just. And all of a sudden, I hear somebody go, Randy, hey, Randy, wait up. And this guy ran up to me, and it was Matthew Perry. And he goes, Randy, they just told me, I'm so sorry. Oh, my God. I had a job one time on a movie, and they flew me out to Florida. And I walked off the plane, and somebody came up to me and said, they just wrote your character out. I know what it's like, man. Just hang in there. And, I'm so sorry. Thanks.
What a mensch, man.
I didn't know who he was. I didn't know any of those people.
Right.
And so that was a memory.
Yeah, fourth episode, they may not even have premiered yet.
No,
So
it was only it was like in August. They don't show stuff until September, right?
September, yeah.
So I wanted to throw that.
That's
story.
a great. Those are two perfect stories for that. Okay, so favorite show. What movie has influenced you most? What you go back to and go?
Well, I think
this was really impressive.
That when I was growing up in High Point, a small town, but there were 2 movie theaters within walking distance, and I spent all my time. Whatever movie came out, I was there, no matter what. And the movies that I really liked a lot were the movies with kids my age in the leads, like a Jodie Foster movie, like that movie Johnny Whitaker and her did, Tom Sawyer.
Mm-hmm.
They did it, and I remember loving that movie, and I was going, "Wow, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to be in a movie like Tom Sawyer and run around and have fun." And I remember back in the day. I remember when The Godfather and Last Tango in Paris came out. They played at the local theaters, and they were there for months. And I'm going,
yeah,
hurry up and get out of here so I can go see a movie.
Yeah,
I remember
little Randy Vasquez watching Last Tango.
I remember Last Tango in Paris had 3 X's, triple X.
Yeah.
Well, would you leave already? So anyway,
Bedknobs and broomsticks.
Yeah, that type of movie inspired me. That was a question, right? I can't think of one specific one, but
that's fine.
But also,
do you have Show Me Again is the next one? Do you have like a movie that you rewatch, like a comfort?
Yeah,
movie?
the comfort movie used to be my big comfort movie was Days of Heaven by Terrence Malick.
Wow,
and
beautiful.
It was the first kind of art movie that I'd ever seen. It was in 1980. I saw it at the New Art over there.
Oh wow,
on Santa Monica in the 405, and I saw the film. And I was just shocked. I got pulled into the storyline, that love triangle, but then the cinematography. And I thought, wow, they can make a movie like this. And it had a minute, and I would watch it every time it came out, all the time. But then now a more recent movie that I watch a lot that inspires me is Maestro, Bradley Cooper's film about Leonard Bernstein. I love movies about the creative process, and I love his work.
You know, I love how everything in Hollywood, you always get, it's easy. People want to shoebox you and categorize you. And you mentioned Days of Heaven, and that reminds me, like, did people ever make the comparison between you and Richard Gere? Because you guys are very similar.
Well, when I dropped out of UCLA in early 1980, I started working at the ice cream place. And that was when American Gigolo came out. It was perfect timing. Because he filmed it right there in Westwood, that movie, where I was working. Yeah. And I got so many dates. Girls would go, oh, you look like Richard Gere. Oh, yeah, you want to go out? Maybe I am. No.
Right, exactly.
But no,
Call me Danny Gere.
No, yeah. That comparison, it's always followed me around. I would have loved to play his brother at some point, but I guess it's not going to happen. Or something would have been great.
Well, it may still happen. You could, How about you and him in a baseball movie? Okay, so finally, show me some love. What's your favorite performance of mine, Randy?
Oh, come on, man. You got a lot of nerve. When I think about you, I think about the episodes where you had your jaw wired. I don't know why that happened.
Patrick Labyorteaux got braces, and Don said, "Okay, well, we'll break his jaw and give him braces."
Are you serious?
And that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't remember that. Well, I remember that because there was a scene between you and Carrie Turner, and my memory might be all wrong on this, but she suspected you of being with another woman or something, and you had to lie to her and be all in it. What? I don't know what you're talking. And when I think about you, I think about that scene or scenes or whatever it was, lying to your wife.
A little storyline.
Well, no, I'm sure nothing was going on, but she was like hammering you about it. Remember that situation?
Oh, I remember. What I remember, I don't, to be honest, it's so funny. Not only are we old men, but the idea that we do so many episodes that we don't remember exactly because all the stories kind of meld into each other. But what I always loved when Bud would get to work with Gunny was that dynamic, like what you explained earlier, that this guy is a piss poor. He's less than a Marine, and you had no time for me. But I mean, you recognized Bud as a good guy, but just what a soup sandwich this guy was. That was the other thing that Siglock always called people is, he's a soup sandwich.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, this has been great, man. Thank you for coming on the show. I really do appreciate you taking time. This was fantastic. Yeah. Please, everybody, check out his movies, Testimony, The Thick Dark Fog, and Badger Creek. I'll have the links down below where you can check them out.
Thank you.
And yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for coming on.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.
Hey, everybody. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the podcast and checking it out. It is an audio podcast wherever you get your audio podcast, and it's a video podcast over on YouTube. My socials are all patrick.labyorteaux. And that is on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. I'm everywhere. If you want information on the school, you can go to workingactorsschool.com. We have classes going all the time. It's a lot of fun. I suggest you check it out. Hey, we'll see you next time.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.